talk about failure for a little bit and people's fear of failure and why it's actually inaccurate. Fear is actually a good thing. In fact, I will tell you probably the more successful the person you see, the more they've failed in life. And I think the key to their success is that they've realized that failure is part of the path to success. Once you start to realize that, you stop having that fear of failure. Because what people do, and I've done it too, I did it all throughout my 20s and part of my 30s, is that you try something, you fail, you get filled with self-doubt, you care about what other people think, you're like, oh my God, what the hell am I doing? And that self-doubt just keeps eating away at you. So you either stop trying and give up right there, or you kind of have one foot in the door and one foot out the other. And let me tell you something, and you'll hear me say this a lot, nobody's ever succeeded with one foot out the door, whether it's a relationship, a new business venture, a side hustle, or a personal trainer. You hire a personal trainer, you decide to start to work out because like everyone does at New Year's. Have you ever noticed New Year's start right after New Year's, the gyms are packed, but 2 to 3 weeks later, it's gone because they failed at something. Usually they set their goals maybe too high and they miss a day, and that's considered a failure to them. Then they feel bad, or they ate a bad meal on a diet, and then they just spiral because the self-doubt starts to eat them up. And it's like, what the hell were you thinking anyway? You weren't going to make this. This was never going to happen. You're not that person. And then the self-doubt fills you and you're just like, okay, you know what? You're right. It's that inner voice, that just inner critic, some people call it, that just kills you inside. But don't let it. I want you to take a different mindset with failure from now on. Think of failure as part of the stepping stone to success, because without that failure, you're never going to get to that success. And failure is just all about learning from it. It's you're on a path and you run into a boulder. How do you get over or around that boulder? Bam. Now you just learned something from the failure and you're better off for it. So the next time that boulder's up, you know exactly what to do. So it's all good. I want to just leave you with a little story about, I don't know if you've heard of Sarah Blakely. Women, if you're watching this, you've heard of Spanx. Well, she's the owner of Spanx. She's incredibly awesome woman, and I've listened to her podcast and read some stuff, a lot of stuff about like her how she came about and how she got Spanx off the ground. And it's very interesting. She's incredibly brilliant. One of the most successful women on the planet. So she got told no 1,000 times over for Spanx, and it never deterred her. She knew it was going to work. She just kept taking action. And finally she talked to, I can't remember if it was JCPenney's or something. She went and she got into this meeting and she finally got a face-to-face. She just kept asking for it after all these no's, all these rejections. And she sat in the meeting and she knew it wasn't going well instantly. And what happened was she said, here, let me show you. And I don't know if you guys know, Spanx are just kind of like, as we age, we all get, our skin gets weird and whatever, and it can be self-conscious. And for women, especially, and the Spanx are for women, and they just kind of like tighten everything up. And so she said, here, let me take you to the bathroom and show you. And she did. The woman was kind of like, okay, whatever, I'll do this just to get you out of my office. And she did. And she came out of the bathroom and said, oh my God, I need these in my store. And then Sarah Blakely, because they weren't hitting off right away. She worked for free in that store and just kept telling people about them for I want to say years. So anyway, it's an incredible story of perseverance and not taking no for an answer and not being deterred by failure and no after no. But the important part is, like, if you look at her youth, her and her brothers every night would come home because their dad was very successful and knew the key to success, or the keys to success, I should say. But he knew one of them was failure. And so they would sit around their dinner table every night, and instead of asking, did you get an A on your test? How did you do today in this, and looking for the successes, he asked them each how they failed today. And his goal was to get them all to fail at least one time each day, because he knew that's how you learn, and that's how you build success, and that's how you persevere, and that's how you can be who you want to be in life. It's all about failure. Of course, there's a lot more to it, but don't be deterred by failure, because if you're deterred by failure, you're never going to get where you want to be. So I'll leave you with this question. How have you failed today? Adios. Awesome to talk to you guys. I hope you enjoyed it.